Here it is, everybody. This is Izzy, One Type 2, and we're doing a Let's Play of Final Fantasy VI. Don't be misled by the title saying Final Fantasy 3. It's Final Fantasy VI. Trust me. I do own the Game Boy Advance version of Final Fantasy VI. However, I highly prefer the Super Nintendo version. I really do. Since there's not much dialogue, I will be talking quite a bit over this. I might use this as a basis for rants of sorts, but I will be commenting on various things within this Let's Play. The game as a whole is quite entertaining, to be honest, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It is probably one of the best games ever created, to be honest. It has an enthralling plot and an absolutely villainous villain, if that makes sense. As you can read, magic is kind of a dead art of sorts, and mankind has been developing magic tech as a way to revive magic in a way and give them power again, which is bad news because you know how mankind is with their power and everything. But the reason I'm playing this on a Super Nintendo emulator as opposed to a Game Boy Advance emulator is, while I do own the Game Boy Advance version of this game, I prefer the Super Nintendo version because, and I've said this before, because the sprites to me look a lot cleaner, I guess. Sharper, maybe is the word I'm looking for. On the Game Boy Advance version, it appears that the sprites are drawn with watercolor paint, which does have a nice artistic feel to it, but I really don't care for it. Also, the translation for this is rather humorous. Hence Vix instead of Biggs. Soldiers, guys. 50 of them. But anyway, basically my basis for doing this Let's Play is I watched a podcast a while back done by the Game Station. I'm huge fans of it. This is main inspiration for me. I might put a link to the video, or to said podcast. But basically it had Jesse Cox of OMFG Cata talking about how good the music used to be in games. And he was referring to, of course, Final Fantasy VI, in which the final boss fight song is a 13-minute long opus of just everything awesome. It goes through so many climactic, amazing genres, but this song, for instance, I'm just gonna let sink in while these credits roll by, if you guys are okay with that. basically infiltrating this town with our awesome battle armor here. Good fight music too, in my opinion. Basically, we can use any of these abilities here, and they'll all produce various amounts of ownage. Basically, everything dies in one hit, is what I'm saying. But anyway, the music is the main reason I prefer playing this game. I really enjoy that opening credits song. The battle music is just amazing. Huge props to Nobuo Uematsu. Like, he is just an incredible composer and songwriter. That one's kind of cool. I like that bio beam. It's pretty neat. But my other discussion I wanted to bring up was how music is getting very lackluster in games. Where we had titles like this back in the day, where the focus was more like storyline and atmosphere and character development and, you know, the music, of course, because there's no dialogue. But then you have games with dialogue and just action, just mind-numbing action. And the music experience from it is kind of lost as a cause of that. Like, you do have games with good music, of course. But they're not quite on the same level as what they used to be. Like, with Final Fantasy VI, for instance, or any of the Final Fantasy games before 10. 10 had some good tracks in it, but that was when the dialogue started. That was when Square Enix decided they wanted to make the shift into mainstream gaming for their Final Fantasy games. Honestly, I was perfectly happy the way it was. The dialogue didn't completely ruin the game for me, but we could have been without it. And due to that, we got Final Fantasy 11, which was an MMO. I never played 11. If there's anyone who has or still does, then I mean, I'm not making fun of the game or talking down to it, but it is an MMO, you know. Final Fantasy is a single-player experience. That's what it's always been marketed as, so. But as a single-player experience, it had frequently been just amazing up until 10. And the music in 10 was pretty good. I mean, Nobuo Uematsu still wrote all the songs and did everything, but the issue with it, I believe, is there's just what was there from the original Final Fantasy games has been lost now. You don't have any of the action time battle system like we have right now in this game, and 7 and 8, all the other ones. It's turn-based. I see the Aeons are quite overpowered. If you play the game correctly and, you know, follow just any random strategy guide, you could easily get the most powerful summoner in the game and have unite your summoner powerful enough to where the summon scale with you and basically beat the last boss in very little hits. Which to me is kind of distasteful in in a Final Fantasy game, at least if it's that easy. Because Final Fantasy VII had the Knights of the Round Table summon materia, which is pretty much an instant win. I mean, I think you had to use it twice on Sephiroth at the end, but I'm sorry if I spoiled anything for anybody, but Sephiroth is indeed the main villain of Final Fantasy VII. That's basically like the ending of Sixth Sense. I mean, it's a twist, but if you don't know it by now, then you need to get out more or something, because that's common knowledge. But anyway, Sephiroth at the end. You know, you can use the Knights of the Round Table like once or twice, or however many times, and boom, he's dead. It's just a really powerful summon attack. But it's very difficult to acquire. Whereas Final Fantasy X, the most powerful summon, is incredibly easy to acquire if you just follow a guide. But honestly, I'd be perfectly happy with Final Fantasy like 15 being it's 16 and 32-bit action time-based RPG. Oh, I love this boss music. Boss music is so good consistently throughout most of the Final Fantasy games. But this monster here eats lightning, so we can't attack with shell. It's funny because a lot of the elements that were used in this game were also used in other Final Fantasy games that came after it. This boss fight, for example, is very similar to the scorpion robot thing that you fight at the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. See, it does this thing where it goes into, yep, right there. It goes into its shell, and if you attack it, which I accidentally did, it will reverse the attack and do a crap ton of damage to all your characters, just like that. So, that is one thing you have to be very, very careful about. And it's not nearly as devastating in Final Fantasy VII, but another thing I wanted to say is how games have been getting easier over the years. Final Fantasy VI is actually quite difficult, especially by endgame. I won't spoil too much, but basically, by endgame, you have to reacquire all of your characters again, which is a giant pain. They basically, similar to Final Fantasy VII yet again, they basically, you get to the last part, third disc or whatever, and you basically are free to engage the last boss at your leisure. However, if you don't have a big enough team to engage said last boss, then you won't be getting very far in this one. He's difficult. That's why he has such an epic boss theme. I don't know if we'll make it there in a Let's Play series, or if I'll just play this and then show you a Let's Play of final boss battle, Final Fantasy VI, or what, but we'll see where we get in that amount of time, I suppose. Man, this thing is a lot of fun. I have hit it numerous times, and it just does not want to die. So I'll just keep pounding on him, and hopefully he'll be dead soon. Stops when you're picking an attack or spell or item. Is that called wait? I believe, as opposed to active. So it's active up until the point you're actually making the decisions, and then once you make get to the point where you actually are getting ready to decide what you're going to do next, and it just kind of doesn't pass through time, I guess. Monsters don't react or... Oh, I guess I defeated him. This is the first boss fight of Final Fantasy VI. I did lose a character, but it's okay. It's not that essential to the going-ons of this game. And this is an Esper. These are the summoned creatures of Final Fantasy VI. I can't remember if Esper's been used before. They use several different names for the summoned creatures. Esper's one, Eidolon's another one, Aeon, or just summon, I guess. But that does seem to be something that changes quite a bit. Basically, they're disappearing for no reason. Somehow relating to the power of this Esper, I guess. And you wake up, not remembering a thing. It's been used before, but, you know, it's a reliable plot device. One thing I would like to tell you guys is that, unlike a lot of other games, this game has not one main character, but several. Every party member is technically a main character, and they all have their own theme song, which is really cool. But the song you're hearing right now is this character's theme song, which is Terra, is her default name. We'll stick with that, of course. And here they come a-knocking. So I'm going to actually leave it off right here. So thank you for watching, guys, and if you want to see more, let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, complain, whatever you guys want to do. Thank you for watching.